Finding the Undying Spirit, striking the bell to wake up. Hello, everyone. Today, we are going to share a powerful segment from the Shurangama Sutra that can instantaneously overturn your perception of reality, striking the bell to verify the eternal. Many people feel exhausted in their spiritual practice and live with deep anxiety because we often feel that we are fragile lives that could vanish at any moment. But over 2000 years ago, through the sound of a bell, the Buddha proved a profound truth to his disciple Ananda and to all of us. Behind your body and emotions, which rise and fall, there is hidden a spirit that is never born, never dies, and exists eternally. Chapter 1. Do you truly recognize the truth? At the assembly, the Buddha said to the Venerable Ananda, Ananda, although you are well learned and have heard all the teachings, your afflictions have not yet ended. In your mind, you only know inverted things. When the genuine and true reality is placed right in front of you, you fail to recognize it. The true reality mentioned here is our self-nature, or what we often call the spirit. Ananda was stunned and perhaps a bit unconvinced. Seeing his doubt, the Buddha decided to use the most common worldly matter to perform an experiment. The Buddha commanded Rahula, go, strike the bell. Chapter R. The trap of hearing versus sound. Ding. Rahula struck the bell. The Buddha asked Ananda, do you hear it now? Ananda and the assembly replied loudly, we hear it. After a while, the bell stopped and the surroundings fell silent. The Buddha asked again, do you hear it now? Ananda said, I don't hear it. Rahula struck the bell once more. The Buddha asked again, and everyone said they heard it. Then, the Buddha asked a seemingly strange question, Ananda, what defines hearing and what defines not hearing? Ananda replied naturally, when the bell rings, I hear it. When the bell stops and the sound fades away completely, that is called not hearing. Here is the key point. The Buddha had the bell struck again but changed the question, is there a sound now? Ananda said, there is sound. When the sound faded, the Buddha asked, is there a sound now? Ananda replied, no sound. The Buddha suddenly said with a serious expression, Ananda, why is your speech so chaotic? It is completely confused and contradictory. Ananda replied defensively, how have I spoken chaotically? The Buddha pointed out his flaw. When I asked, do you hear? You answered heard or not heard. Then I asked about the sound, and you answered there is sound or no sound. You have confused the sense of hearing, the hearing nature, with the sound, the external object. Do you believe that because the sound has vanished, your hearing nature has vanished as well? Chapter 3. Sounds rise and fall, but hearing never rests. This is the core truth the Buddha wanted to point out. Ananda, you say that when the sound vanishes, it is called not hearing. If your hearing nature truly vanished along with the sound, then your nature would be extinguished, and you would be like a piece of dead wood. If that were so, when Rahula struck the bell a second time, how would you know there was a sound again? The Buddha told Ananda, sound is something that is born and extinguished. It is there one moment and gone the next. That is dust, external phenomena. But your hearing nature, the spirit that is able to hear, is neither born nor extinguished. You know there is sound because the hearing nature is present. You know there is no sound also because the hearing nature is present. If you did not have that spirit, who would be there to tell you that it is silent now? Ananda's mistake lay in mistaking the sound for the hearing, taking the external movement and stillness of sound as his own internal nature of hearing. We ordinary people are the same. When we have money, we feel I exist. When we have no money, we feel I am gone. When we have emotions, we feel we have a heart. When there are no emotions, we feel the heart is dead. We mistake changes in the external environment for our own existence. Chapter 4. The sound of pounding rise and the undying spirit. To help everyone understand that this spirit transcends life and death, the Buddha gave another brilliant metaphor. He said there was a man who was fast asleep. At that time, someone in the house was pounding rice, making a thump, thump, thump sound. The man heard it in his dream, but he mistook the sound of pounding for the beating of a drum or the tolling of a bell. In his dream, he even wondered, why do the drum and bell today sound like wood and stone striking together? Later, when he woke up, he realized, oh, so it was the sound of pounding rice. The Buddha asked Ananda, while this man was in his dream, Did he remember anything about movement, stillness, opening, closing, passing through, or being blocked? Although his body was asleep, was his hearing nature the spirit darkened or unconscious? The answer is no. Even in deep sleep or in a dream, that hearing nature is still functioning. The Buddha then spoke a soul-shaking conclusion that has transcended 1,000 years. Even if your form is destroyed and the light of your life fades, how could this nature be extinguished for you? Even if your physical body is destroyed and your lifespan ends, how could this spirit vanish just because you have died? Chapter 5. How to practice. Abandon the perishing. Hold to the eternal. Since this spirit is pure, subtle, and eternal, why are we still suffering through life after life? The Buddha said it is because, from time immemorial, we have been chasing after form, sound, smell, taste, touch, and phenomena. We pursue those phenomena that rise and fall, drifting along with our thoughts, and have never turned back to realize this pure, subtle, and eternal nature. We have learned different languages and been stained by different habits. This is called defiled wandering. How then should we practice? The Master gave us the most direct summary in this segment. Abandon the perishing. Hold to the eternal. Cast aside those phenomena that rise and fall such as emotions, fame, wealth, and physical sensations and directly hold onto that true, eternally unchanging spirit. The eternal light appears when you hold to this for a long time. Your seeing, hearing, and awareness will no longer be restricted by the physical body. Distance yourself from dust and grime. Constantly having idle thoughts is dust. The habits we are stained with are grime. When you distance yourself from these, your Dharma eye will instantaneously become clear and bright. This is the supreme awareness of self-nature. When you no longer look at the world through the colored glasses of karma, and instead purely allow the awareness of your self-nature to function, how could you fail to achieve the supreme Bodhi? The Master compassionately reminded us this segment, striking the bell to verify the eternal, there actually reveals the core of spiritual practice. Dear listeners, the next time you feel lonely, fearful, or feel that life is short, please be still and listen to the sounds around you. Then ask yourself, who is it that is able to sense both sound and silence? That who is your undying spirit. Hold on to it, and you will find your way home. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Sublime Dharma of the Shurangama Sutra shared by Australia's Buddha's Path Association. We'll see you next time.